welcome back to another episode of the Jacksonville Buzz's Buzz on Veterans. This morning, I have the opportunity to meet with Scott Brubaker, who is a progressive lean expert. What is a progressive lean expert?
It's the name of my company.
Not just the suits being cut really well because of your fine fitness there.
No.
Not that kind of lean. Different kind of lean. All right, what's lean?
Yeah, basically it's a process that's used to identify waste in processes and eliminating it. And the beauty of it is, it's not me going into some place and saying, I can fix it, because I know nothing of what you do. You ask the people that actually do it on a day-to-day basis, sometimes for years, and say, please help me understand what frustrates you. What are your problems? What do you think you shouldn't do? Let's see what we can make happen. Now,
you've had a very interesting and storied career, starting off in the military, in the Navy. Thank you very much for your great service. Going into a second part of your career where you've discovered some of the leans, which then you come up to today of how you are making impacts in the medical space. So let's talk a little bit about the Navy. You joined at 17, you came in enlisted, and you became an officer.
Yes, sir.
So tell me about your pathway from going from grunt to butter bar.
You bet. So what happened was, at 17, I signed up for the Navy from a small town in Cortez, Colorado.
Not a lot of boats.
14-foot rowboat was the biggest.
Yep, not a lot of lakes well, not a lot of oceans out there.
No doubt. So anyway, I looked at all different services, and the Navy offered the best opportunity for education. And I got 2 years of training as a computer technician, and then I was on a ship for 3 years. And I was sent to London, England for 3 years, and I got 2 associate's degrees and a bachelor's degree, and made E7. At that point, I wanted to have a change, so I applied for OCS, and I was selected as Supply Corps, and I started my officer career at that point. Then I was sent back to another ship, and eventually I ended up with a petroleum specialty.
Wow.
And I was sent to Diego Garcia, and I ran the large ocean bulk terminal, in which we had B-52s that would be there, and also carrier battle groups that would come through, and we were able to fuel them at the large bulk tour or facility that we had. We actually won the American Petroleum Institute award that year for the best large Navy terminal in the world.
So one of the things I want to ask you about,
Yes,
so for some of the folks that watch this, from the gent who's been there, done that, bought the t-shirt a couple times, you're talking about your experience. So you went in at 17.
Yes, sir.
Right out of high school.
Right out of high school.
But then you didn't go to the military, then go to college. You went to the college while you're in the military.
Correct.
That then put you, although I understand, coming from a military family, there is obviously the enlisted going to officers, a different journey than just going to college, becoming officer.
Right.
But you went through as an enlisted, did your education while serving in the United States military, in the Navy,
Correct.
and then had an opportunity to become an officer while serving. So it wasn't that you had to make the choice of one or the other, because a lot of folks, you've got a lot of, I have 4 teenagers, and we have the largest workforce population coming right behind us, just after the second only to the boomers, which are, retiring out of the workforce, at record amounts. They're trying to make a decision. Do I go into trade? Do I go to college? Do I go to military? What do we do? So you're saying it's not one or the other, it's all of the above. If should the military be a way you want to go, you can get your education, get your trade, you get all your stuff.
Yeah.
And that prepared you, after your career in the military, to go into the private sector.
Correct.
So talk about that transition, what you did when you got out, and where you discovered what this lean thing was.
You bet. So what happened after Diego Garcia, I was selected to be the fleet petroleum officer for Sink-Pack Fleet.
Giant gas station guy. So you're the pumper.
For all of the Pacific.
This guy is the guy that fills up all the boats and the ships. He's actually hanging out of the back of the plane, filling up the B-2 bombers, right? That's you?
Asking you for
Pumping
a credit card.
Yeah. From what I understand, that's a very large limit on that credit card, sir.
No doubt about it.
So, okay, so you were, in all sincerity, you were in charge of fuel operations, which is, tanks don't run without it,
Correct.
ships don't run without it,
Correct.
planes fall out of skies if you put the wrong stuff in it. So you were in charge of literally the lifeblood of the advanced warfighter.
What I will say is we ran the overall scheme, war plans and things like that for the entire Pacific Theater. And then after that, I got the job at Honolulu International Airport as a fuels director, but then I had some family needs that were very pressing that I had to go back to Colorado. So the closest I could get was a manufacturing job in Phoenix. And we worked really hard just with military skills, such as making sure we had written standard work and that we had the discipline to follow it. Mm-hmm. And we improved that plant's performance to where it was doing very well. Then I got promoted to a plant that they were thinking about closing. And they decided to make both me as a director of manufacturing and the plant an experiment in lean. So we had the Toyota business system brought in with the Japanese sensei concept. And so for 5 years, I worked with the sensei, and we did a lean transformation at that plant. And we went from 27th in the corporation to the top 3, and we won quality awards for 3 straight years. It's not because of me, it's because of the talented workforce and lean. We got rid of so much waste, and it really was waste, but we just couldn't see it until we used these processes.
Right, it's a forest from the trees conversation, right? You know, the fun exercise a lot of people do in lean, I'm very familiar with. It's close cousin, you know, Six Sigma, is you literally track a piece of paper and how many steps a piece of paper has to go before it gets from, at a bank. You go from, I deposit a check to it goes to the final accounting. How many steps does it go through, and does it really? What if you just take this person, set it next to this person? How many steps does it reduce? Now, way oversimplifying your, life's hard work. But so we have your military service. Then we have you coming out, going through the thing. Now you discover that lean is very applicable in the healthcare space, which is kind of where you're at today.
That's
so
correct.
Take us through where we know where we are, we know where we were. Where are we going?
Well, what happened was, after I was qualified, one of the last assignments I had, I basically worked for a company, and I worked as the direct report to the Chief Executive Officer of Denver Health. I did that for 2 years. And we worked in 12 different value streams, and each value stream is a particular part of that hospital system. We were able to save $46 million of CEO, CFO validated savings, and that was a safety net hospital, which meant that everybody that didn't have money went there. Everybody that didn't have the right insurance went there. So that $46 million was tied right back into serving them. That was the most meaningful thing I've ever done.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for taking time to share with us today your career, your second act of life, where you're headed. Very cool. We'll hang all your stuff on our website at thedailynewsnetwork.com. Thank you for your service to our great country, and thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure.
Guys, thanks for joining us on Buzz on Veterans. If you like us, share us. Remember, live with gratitude.
Operation Barnabas is a veterans ministry, started in 2017 with the purpose of helping our veterans that kind of got left behind, and they've struggled with addictions, PTSD, suicidal thoughts, those kind of things, helping them get whole again through one-to-one mentorship.
Being able to communicate with them and help them can drastically change their life, can drastically change a family's life. The little that we can do is put our hand out and say, hey, do you want a hand up?